Hey, I'm Justin. This is John.
What's up?
We are here doing a Nerd Takes talking about Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Are you excited about this?
I was very excited when this came out.
This is a very controversial show. I was as well.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it. So this show was created by Patrick McKay and John D. Payne, and that's pretty much all they have done so far. But they are going to be doing the new Flash Gordon film, which I know I'm excited about. I don't really care. I was just kidding. But,
Sure.
but anyway, all right. Tell us more about the Rings of Power.
So all eight episodes debuted on Amazon Prime from September 1st through October 14th, and it has been renewed for a second season.
To many people's dismay, unfortunately.
I think they've pushed all their chips to the table. I mean, you're kind of pot committed at this point in time. You can't just give up now.
Good.
Keep going.
I love it. Fuck the trolls. Stars. This show stars. There are a lot of people in this, and I'm going to make this pretty quick and brief because, quite frankly, you probably haven't heard of a lot of them.
No, you have not.
And I could name the few things they've been in, but honestly, it's not really worth it. So we've got Morfydd Clark, and I'm going to butcher people's names, especially hers. She plays Gladriel. Charlie Vickers plays Halbrand. Ismael Cruz Cordova plays Arondir. Cynthia Adaya Robinson plays the Queen Regent Muriel. Lloyd Owen plays Captain Elendil. Markella Kavanagh plays Nori Brandyfoot. She's 22 but plays 13. Didn't know that.
Well, they kind of have to. I mean, you got to get around the child labor laws. You got to hire someone.
But there are some other like 15-year-olds in there. Anyway,
okay.
She's the older one. Daniel Wayman plays the Stranger. Maxim Baldry plays Isildur. I love that name, Isildur. Jonathan Malle plays Adar, and the only thing, this is the one you would know.
Joseph.
That's what I meant, Joseph Malle. You know him because he plays Benjen Stark in Game of Thrones. Robert Aramayo plays Elrond, and Owain Arthur plays Prince Durin IV. Those are the main characters. There are a lot of other ones.
There's a ton. I mean, it's just like the movies. There's a ton of people in this.
100%.
So according to IMDb, epic drama set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, follow an ensemble cast of characters both familiar and new as they confront the long-feared reemergence of evil to Middle-earth.
So this is supposed to take place in the Second Age, which is, for you Lord of the Rings people that aren't super mega nerds, this is about 1,000 years before the events of the Third Age, which is when Bilbo and Frodo and all that happened. He wrote over 9,000 years of history. Tolkien did.
And he created multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
Tolkien never wrote a book focusing on the events of the Second Age, and the production does not have rights to the book in which he did write the most about it.
Which is the Silmarillion, right?
Yes.
You know, and another big issue with the difficulties of this whole thing, the challenges, is that they're collapsing. They made the choice to collapse thousands of years of Middle-earth's history into a smaller time frame, which is what Tolkien didn't necessarily do or allow for.
He took his time.
9,000 years for 3 ages. That's a lot of fucking years for 3 ages.
No kidding.
And basically the heavy hitters of the 3 ages are Sauron dies the first time. No. Sauron comes back and dies a second time, and Sauron tries to come back a third time and doesn't work. Those are the 3 major plot points of the 3 ages.
All
anyway,
about Sauron.
9,000 years. Okay, so let's do a real quick review, and we should give you a warning.
Spoilers.
We are going to spoil what happens in it because that's how we review something.
We are going to talk about intimate details. So if you haven't watched it, stop.
This is a reaction episode. Watch it, then come back. Anyway, so what were your thoughts going in before you saw it?
So again, very excited. Lord of the Rings movies have been on TV recently. It's shocking. So just kind of interesting to get back, dive back into that. I liked the movies. So it was and it was an interesting concept of like being a prequel, wondering to see how much of the callbacks to the movies that we saw, how many there would be, and just generally excited for it.
Yeah, I read the books growing up, and obviously saw the movies and have watched them, sporadically over the last 20 years because they're pretty long. Definitely love the extended versions just as much as the originals, even though those are each 4 hours.
4 hours long, yeah.
Doesn't matter; they just get better.
They're good.
So I was equally excited. What were your thoughts after? And I should say, so just some real quick reviews: 6.9 on IMDb and 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It was slow. It was very, very slow. I mean, I understand why you have to take some time at the beginning, and I get that. Like the first episode, nothing happens. The second episode, nothing really happens because you're introducing you understand. Okay, this is Middle Earth again, and there's a couple people that you know, but everything else is new, and there's all these new characters. Like you hear Isildur's name, and it perks up, and Galadriel, and your ears perk. Oh, like, ooh, I know who that is. Ooh, I know what's going to happen to that guy. But it just took forever to get there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nothing happens. It's there's no conflict. Like there's like inner conflict, and they're all dealing with their own previous demons, and now things that are coming up with whatever. Yeah. Like
I mean, it's
backstories with
it's building. It's just taking a long time to build to the eventual like climax of the last couple episodes.
Yeah, no, totally. It definitely ends like at a real high note.
It ends great.
But I personally I like the backstory, the world building with like for example when they're doing like the whole Elrond and Thorin, like their whole Durin, their whole backstory about how they had a falling out and just the challenges of down in where the dwarves live. Right, it was just. You don't see that a lot, and you didn't see that in the movies.
Well, because they couldn't take the time to do it.
It was very linear. It's like, we got to get this story. We got to get this ring to freaking Mordor.
Yeah, we got to go. We can't. A little character development, but not to the level that this is. Yeah,
so it was definitely pretty slow, but it was nice kind of seeing a little bit of like Galadriel's like reasoning why she's such a...
And she's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
You don't really get to see her as a badass in the movies.
You don't get that in the movies. You get her as this wise, but kind of like fucking dark, shady ass character. Like I don't know what she's all about. I don't know if
you're good or you're bad or what are you. You're just kind of there, and maybe you're helping, but maybe you're not.
But you're playing some fucking mind games, like right?
Right.
And so you get a lot of that backstory for sure. And then once you hit the scene where basically Mount Doom is essentially created.
Right. Yeah. Mount Doom. They take the sword. They stick it in, and then Mount Doom erupts, basically.
Right,
and the cataclysm, I think, is what they call it.
Creates the whole area of Mordor now.
Yeah, the Southlands turns into Mordor.
Yeah, that from then on, I was like, it's got me now.
Oh, it was
badass.
Yep.
So it ends on a really high note. So I think, despite the slow points, if you stick through it. I mean, again, they're only 8 episodes so far, and they're each about an hour long.
Right.
But if you like the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, I do think you'll like even the beginning part of the season, because I think you're used to kind of a lot of the scenery and again, the world building that isn't just to action, dialogue action.
Right. Right. Well, and you kind of know who some people, like the stranger, like he lands, you're 95% sure you know who that is when he gets there, even though nobody knows his name yet.
Yeah.
But you don't get confirmation that that's Gandalf until like the last words that are spoken on the last episode of the season. Follow your nose.
Right.
And but then it kind of all ties together, because it's like you remember the first movie where Saruman saying, "I never understood your love of the halflings."
Yeah, there it is.
This is why I have an affinity for hobbits, because they helped me when I first landed on this planet or whatever.
There are somehow a lot of great callbacks to the trilogy that obviously is a sequel trilogy to this story.
Yeah.
Essentially, somehow 3,000 or 4,000 years ahead of time. Now, while I get that some of the story may be disconjointed, while it may not be 100% accurate to the
books, or
not even the books, but like the appendices. Like, it's not even the books.
It's not even in the books. Yeah. Right.
He only really wrote The Hobbit and then like the three Lord of the Rings books, right? And then some of the world building stuff. But anyway, I do think that there's a really good audience for this, and I think if you stick with it, I believe you'll be rewarded. So
I agree.
Let's do a real quick review. So just to remind you of what we're reviewing, so we're going to give you our rating of our Luke Skywalker scale, and things we're considering are, again, expectations coming in, where they met, rewatchability. Would we encourage people to watch this, or would we watch it again? Overall feelings, and then just basically the vibe of it. So
you can go first.
I'll go first on this one. I really genuinely enjoy this, and I actually really liked even the slow episodes. And maybe it's a bit of me, my way to like basically go against current culture, counterculture, is reading the reviews of people online and like almost like growing like,
who cares what those people say?
By like grow more powerful with the anger and hatred of the people that are on the forums that's not accurate to Appendix 6, and Tolkien said this. Go fuck yourself, fanboy. This is fun. It was actually really enjoyable, and it's okay if you don't enjoy it for certain reasons, but the reasons people were having to not like it,
And just
basically people just throw the word out woke whenever they just feel like it, and that's just a way to describe that they don't like something.
just don't watch it.
Just
then,
don't
dude.
watch it. Don't
Just
like
watch
it. That's fine. Like I get you have aversion to it, but like to try and bot it down with negative reviews just to submarine it because you are such a miserable human being is really pretty pathetic and makes me laugh. And again, makes me grow stronger. So keep it going. So I'm going to give this, I know we don't usually do half points, so I'm not going to give it a half point, but if I had, it'd be a 7.5. So just because it's still the first season, I think it's going to get better, I'm going to give it a Dagobah Luke score of 7.
See, it's funny. It's funny you say that because we talked about before this, and I was between the two, and I was between Hoth Luke and Dagobah Luke, because again, I appreciate the slow parts, but I'll be honest, I fell asleep in a couple episodes. Now I don't know if that's just because I was just exhausted or tired or it was late or whatever, but there was a couple episodes where I was nodding off because there wasn't a lot happening. But again, if you get through, like, not to say that you have to suffer through that, but like if you pay attention, there's a lot there. It pays off at the end. I'm excited for the next season.
Yep.
To see where this goes from there. So I will echo your Dagobah Luke.
Oh, I thought you threw me for a curve. I thought you were going lower.
No,
All right.
You don't know what I'm going to do.
I never know what you're going to do. You're basic, obviously. Well, there you have it. Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, Nerd Takes. Honestly, go check it out and maybe be well rested beforehand, but I do think you're going to get the payoff at the end of it.
Totally. Absolutely.
All right. Well, until next time, Nerd Takes.
Nerd Takes.
See you later.